what to write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.
UNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston. My partner in crime, Long Island raised, Mr. Elm City made, Mr. Award winner, Mr. Always bearded, always, all the time, Mr. EZ BlueZ. And the great, the powerful, the intelligent, the always multitasking, the OG blurred, Mr. Professor is in the building. You know, when Professor is here, it's always 1, 2, 3 nerds venting right here. It's a limited edition, actually the ultimate edition of Preston and Easy Blues. We have to call it 3 nerds venting, where we're just 3 grown men talking and venting about pop culture, what we love about it, what we hate about it, what we're indifferent about it, and what we're excited to see. And one of my favorite concepts that we came up with through 3 nerds venting is the always celebrated, always, we'll talk about just between us 3, it's the overrated, the underrated, and the waste of time. Overrated, underrated, waste of time. And the topic is scary movies. I'm not particularly a fan of the scary movie genre, but I do appreciate what they offer. I appreciate some type of franchises. I'm going to go last on this one. But the first one I'm going to pick, easy, I'm going to go with you. I don't think you're afraid of those.
I'm also not that big into horror movies because
Gotcha.
I'm like one of those people that I'll leave. Like if the house says get out, I'm gone. Like
I'm the same way. It's like I'm not frustrated. I'm not scared of what you provide on the screen.
Right.
Actually, I'm lying. I do get frustrated with the choices these people make in these kind of films.
Yeah.
So like I get more aggravated than scared when it comes to this. But
so I
go
think,
to you.
So like overrated, I have to say just because there's so many of them is the Saw franchise. I feel the Saw franchise is massively overrated and overpopulated. I get it. You got caught. He's kidnapped you, and now he's figured out a way to torture you. I've never laughed so hard in my life than at a Saw movie. And I thought it's just bizarrely ridiculous.
All right.
And then underrated, I gotta say, I Know What You Did Last Summer. I thought was very underrated, and I felt like there could have been more movies that were dragged out of that. So I would have liked to have seen that. And what was the other one? Just achieved at the regular basis.
Waste of time.
Waste of time. Oh, see, that one's rough.
Something that should have ever been brought up. Ever.
I think when WWE got into the filmmaking business and they did that See No Evil or whatever, Hear No Evil or whatever it was called, that was a waste of time. Kane's big run into horror films that wasn't even that scary, although I got to watch him shove a cell phone down someone's throat, so that was kind of cool. But that was about it, though. So yeah, that's my horror. And again, horror is not really my genre because I'll leave. Like if something creeps me out, I'm not going to be there. That's just me, though. It's just me.
Fair enough, Professor.
I too am not a huge fan of the horror genre.
All right,
and the last one I really appreciated and I watched and it freaked me out was The Exorcist back in the 70s. That was the last one that I actually like enjoyed enough where it like frightened me and I was like, oh no thank you, demon stuff. So but for my choices, because I have watched them, but mainly like with my kids and stuff like that if they wanted to see something. So overrated, the Alien franchise. I'm done.
Right.
Okay.
I'm done.
Fair enough.
I've been done. Alien 3 was my last one that I really enjoyed, and I've been done since then.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been since I've had this disdain for aliens and entering the body and all that. No, thank you. So that's that. Yeah. Remember that movie Life with Ryan Reynolds? They were out in space and an alien got in his mouth and that. Oh my God, that was like, yep. So that was it. That right there, that's my worst nightmare. That and oh my God. Anyway, so that one. So I think the Alien friend, very, very overrated. Underrated. There was this movie that came out a while ago. It's called The Mist.
I heard about that.
And what was really
Which one?
The more modern one.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to remember the actor that was a famous actor in it. I can't remember who it was, but anyway.
Thomas Jane.
Yes.
Thomas Jane,
That's
Punisher.
the one.
Yep.
That's the one. What made that underrated for me was because of the twist at the end.
Okay.
Where, you know, they were doing this whole survival thing, trying to get through and stay away from monsters, et cetera, et cetera. Come to find out, the government was, you know, they had a hand in, like, they were like stopping monsters, and it was like this whole, they did all this survival stuff just to find out that, you know, the government had something or other to do with the whole thing, and I would have liked to have seen the other side of that.
Right.
I would have liked to have seen a sequel where they show the other side of that, and then kind of like play it from the time where they first discovered the mist was happening and their efforts to get, you know, some resolution, and then ending off with them saving those people. That would have been amazing. So
Right.
that's kind of an underrated one for me, and a waste of time. That whole Annabelle thing. All right.
Say it again.
All right.
Say it again.
I've seen the doll, bro. I've seen the real doll.
Right. I've seen this Raggedy Ann, right? So
Yeah,
so it's
oh,
not the
Annabelle,
ugly,
okay.
yeah, it's not the ugly, funny looking doll. It's Raggedy Ann. So anyway, and I always thought that was a shifty looking doll anyway back in the day, her and Andy. But yeah, so it turned into, so it had those movies, right? And then all of a sudden you have like The Nun. And then you have, so it's all these connecting movies, and I'm like, all right, how many are we gonna do? We're gonna continue this? I feel bad for the people, you know, the psychic and her husband and all the books they wrote. They made millions of dollars. But
They
you
did.
know, all right, they did. And then they're like getting like some money from the newer movies. And come on, man. Like, all right, I'm done. What about the people who created Raggedy Ann? Give them some money. I mean, come on. It's time for them to shine again. So that's all. I'm done. So those are my picks. Those are my picks.
Oh. Underrated for me, Tales from the Hood.
Okay. That was good.
Tales from the Hood was I love the approach they did with that little Tales from the Crypt approach that they did, and some really went outside the box. One with the I think it was like the Martin Luther King type character getting killed, and then like he rose from the dead and just avenged his death and like got at the people who oppressed them back. Like I thought that was a cool storyline, and then and then at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, was the devil telling them all this, you know, stories to the people who were condemned because they sinned. They broke into people's house. They caused all these murders, people who broke into the devil's house. So like, he was like, they were coming to him. It was easy for him. So I think that was underrated. And I thought that could have ran for a little while. Not as a movie, but it would have been a good TV series. Because like with all the stuff that's been going on throughout all these decades, you know, ever since it came out, you know, it would have been a real good TV series to look back and think over. I think that's my underrated pick. Waste of time. I gotta go with Saw after the second one. After the second one, I gotta go with Saw because the first one was original. Don't get me wrong, that first one's original. It was definitely planned out. You know, I loved it when Danny Glover was in there. It was real cool, but Saw is definitely a waste of time. There's only so much you can do with it. So much. Overrated. I gotta go Halloween.
Wow.
After the first, you can't recreate that very first John Carpenter one back in the 70s.
Right.
There's so much you can do. I understand recreating one. I love the one with Rob Zombie did it, but then like the other ones that they had, it was just, you can only do so much with Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So much. You know, it's digging in a well for me. So those are my picks. Underrated Tales from the Hood. Waste of time, Saw franchise after 2. And then all the Halloweens that didn't even matter. And I got my honorable mention, Jason. Only so much you can do with Jason with Crystal Lake. So much.
I played with the first Jason.
Oh yeah, you were
I
telling us
remember
about
that.
that. Yeah,
You were
yeah,
telling me
yeah.
you played with the
That's
first Jason. That's right.
I played with the
That's
first
right. I
Jason.
remember that.
He played him as a kid, the kid that
Mhm.
drowned. Really cool dude, really phenomenal keyboard player. The dude had a guitar. The man came out with a guitar, rocking the guitar, and then he was telling
Nice.
me about the chicks he gets with the guitar, and I was like, okay, buddy.
Accountability.
Okay.
Which moment that proved you wrong in pop culture that made you happy at the end of the day? Which product that you bashed on that when you saw the final result that you were pleased with and you were okay with being proved wrong? Easy BlueZ, you're first.
See, this one is rough for me because
Yeah.
it was actually the original Lion King.
1995, 1994,
Yeah,
5?
yeah.
Anime?
I
Okay.
remember when it first came out, there was so much being talked about how it was a completely stolen story, and Disney's doing it again, and all that kind of stuff. That I was like, I'm totally gonna hate on this movie because it was stolen. And then I saw the movie, and I was like, Mufasa. So that would definitely hit me, I think the hardest, and the one where I was the wrong in all the right ways. I was the wrongest about. But
Okay.
when it first came out, I was definitely thumping that it was just a rip-off movie that I could just go see an anime and it'd be the same thing anyway. And then Disney dropped Lion King, and I was totally proven wrong.
I think it's based off an anime.
It's directly stolen from an anime.
It's stolen from an anime.
Directly,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, the lion's
Gotcha.
white. I forgot what it's called, but it's the lion's all white. It's the story's.
I think it's like Kimbo or something like that.
Yeah, Kimba. That is it.
Kimba,
That is
that's
it.
the name
Kimba.
of the thing. Like to
Yeah.
the T stolen. That's
Kimba,
crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep, frame for frame. Yeah.
Frame for frame.
Now, was it in the public domain where Disney can do that? Because if you're in the public domain, anything's off.
Well, that's the
table.
story. That's the thing. A lot of because we know that's what Disney does. They'll take a public domain story, and then they'll
flip it and make it into their own.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But to the lengths that they did this one, though, it was like just downright disrespectful. Like but it was still a good movie. I mean,
It's still a good movie. You still to sit here and not say you got a little choked up when Mufasa died.
Yeah, you can't.
You're just lying to yourself.
Right,
you
can't.
You know what I mean?
Agreed. You can't. It's.
Did they do the same thing with Hunchback of Notre Dame? Because that was supposed to be a horror. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a horror type story, but then they flipped it to their little kids perspective and like made it like all
I mean,
G-rated.
If we're being honest, a lot of the tales, Snow White,
Grimm Tales, right?
Yeah, the Grimm Tales were
rough,
like
bro.
man, they were like awful, like scary and terrible, and like just let it go. That movie Frozen, it comes from the story of the Ice Queen.
Yep.
Oh, she was brutal. She was brutal.
Really?
Brutal.
I thought that wasn't.
Oh,
I'm
no,
not
that
surprised that's not original. I'm not surprised.
No, that's not original. And let me tell you,
but that's crazy.
They did the Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid.
Yep.
Oh, I know Little Mermaid's messed up.
Awful. Yeah, that was an awful story. And let me tell you, them making putting their magic on and their spin on it to make merchandise and to make money. I mean, I'm kind of glad they did because the kids would be crying in the movie theater, like not in a good way.
Goodness.
Well, like if you look at Sleeping Beauty, I remember trying to read Sleeping Beauty to the kids as they were younger, and I'm like, and Prince Charming runs through the thorn bushes and his eyes are gouged out, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Some of those stories were terrible, and then like I said, when you look at what Disney did to him, it's like, all right, Disney, I'll give you a pass on that because that was that was a good call.
It was a good call. Good call, Disney. Well done. Well done.
Man.
Except for Lion King, because you definitely
they were
wrong. For me, it's the Chronicles of Narnia. That surprised me. I thought that was gonna be, like a rip-off, never-ending story, because I never read the books or anything. But like when I first saw the movie for the first time, like in my early 20s, that was well done from beginning to end, and it was made for kids, but it was just it was amazing. It was amazing. That made me want to read the book from the library, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. So Narnia, the first movie, is definitely surprised me to the core. When they walked in to the closet and they saw the fantasy world out there, and everything about it was great to me. Everything about it. Nothing wrong with that. So I was happy to be proved wrong with Narnia. That's my pick.
Okay. You know what I was proven right about?
What?
Harry Potter.
That's never gonna die though. That's never gonna die. In my opinion.
Yeah, right. Neither's COVID, but we still got to deal with it.
True.
Yeah.
True. Professor, your pick.
The Star Wars franchise.
That you were proved wrong?
Yeah, because I thought after the new sequels, after the new ones, the prequels, and then I saw what they did with the Rise of Skywalker and those other two heaps of trash. I was like, all right, well, this is the end. I'll accept it. I'll live with this. And then here comes Jon Favreau with the Mandalorian and saves the universe.
Yes.
There we go.
Yep.
And so I was really, really glad that, because I was set to be done with the franchise after the last movie. And I was like, and I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Because what I had that comforted me was I'd read the books that happened after Jedi. And I knew that even though Disney wasn't co-signing and making it canon, there was an incredible universe out there. And I was okay with that universe. And I was happy about that universe. And then here comes the Mandalorian. And you know what? Some of the cartoons and stuff kind of gave us some characters like Grand Admiral Thrawn and some of the other characters. They introduced those characters and stuff. Then those are characters from the books. So I was really, really set to be done with the franchise after those movies came out. And I was like, I'll be okay. I don't have to watch another Star Wars film again. And then I was so happy that when I watched like the first couple of episodes and I saw like it was this feeling of like, oh my God, I'm back in the universe. This feels like Tatooine. This feels like, you know what I mean? So I was really, really happy I was wrong about that. Very, very happy. That's my pick.
There you go.
That's fair. That's fair. It's always nice to see a good rebrand or a good reboot of something that you love. You know, especially after a disappointment, because a lot of people, not just you, were disappointed with the last 3 films.
Right. And what made it really powerful for me, it wasn't a reboot. It wasn't a reboot. What it was they were fixing the mistakes. And they were without saying, you know what, let's own up to the mistakes that we know these movies were terrible. They weren't doing that. They were just saying, all right, we'll put it in somebody's capable hands that can fix it. That can
make it right.
Right. Can make the fan base feel okay with what we did. And somehow I've given it a pass and forgotten it. Not forgotten, but it's like I don't think about those terrible movies. What I think about is what's happening in the future. The Book of Boba Fett was dope to me. Ahsoka was dope to me. So I got to see these really, really amazing Rogue One was dope to me. Like,
what's amazing is I got to say this: the tag WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Professor, continue.
Yeah, so I got this great opportunity now to feel really positive about what's to come now, versus like, all right, I'll put them in a coffin. They're good. I'm good now. You know what I mean? So there's hope for the future. There's hope. A new hope. See what I did there? You see?
That was good. I saw it. Yes, that was well done.
I saw what you did.
Well played.
I love how they gave justice back to the Jar Jar Binks actor, though, because he was getting a lot of hate for Jar Jar Binks. And I think he was a different cast member in the Mandalorian one of those seasons, and he definitely just revamped his career, or like redeemed himself, which is better words. Which I thought that was very cool what they did for him, because he got a lot of hate, especially after the suicide stuff he was facing. That was crazy, just from Star Wars fans. Fans can be toxic.
Mm-hmm.
They can really be toxic. But toxic fans can be talked about a lot. And I would like to know, what are some of the worst fan bases you guys have encountered?
I have been waiting
Or in
for
your
this.
opinion, the worst fan
I've
base
been waiting for this one
that
all
you
week.
that you encounter or that you feel is just way too toxic and takes it too much to heart, because life is too short.
Word.
Easy. I'm gonna save you for last.
Okay. Okay. I'll be hysterical. I'm gonna start crying if the professor says the same stuff that I have to say. It's gonna be amazing.
I doubt it, but
Yeah,
may I? May I?
Go ahead. Please do.
Professor, it's your call. Go ahead.
Worst fan base ever, the Star Wars fan base. And I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm one of them, right? Worst fan base ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can use myself as an example.
Right.
Because I had followed so much. And again, as I said several times, I've read like a lot of the books and everything. I was a diehard fan of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And when the newer movies were coming out, when the prequels came out, there was this terrible thing that happened that I was not happy about. And it was like right after, because I think after the third movie, I think George Lucas had done sold to Disney. And the toxicity of the fans, all the hate that they were given. First of all, this is the man who created the universe.
Yeah.
But he was getting so much hate as a result of it. And you have to understand something. It took 20+ years for us to even get the prequels. And they weren't exactly as grand as because the love that us as fans that we had for the first 3 movies, right? And the legend of like the Clone Wars and stuff, and how like it was such legend that when we found out it was going to come to the big screen, we expected bigger. We expected more. Yes. We didn't expect Anakin to be such a punk. Yeah, all of that. But we got it. We got it. Be okay with that. Be happy with what we got. At least, again, I wasn't a huge fan of the prequels, but they were putting pieces together for me. But a lot of the fans were just hating and hating and hating and hating. And it got to the point where George Lucas was like, just be happy I did this.
Yeah.
He got frustrated. And you see with a lot of the newer movies, you still get those fans that are still like spewing the hatred. The fact that people were complaining about, and forgive me, I forgot the name of the shows that are on Netflix right now. But I saw the Rebel Moon. I saw the first one. I liked it. I'm gonna watch the second one. Yeah. So I'm gonna watch the second one. And the people that were hating on Rogue One, and be happy. Be happy. We don't have to wait 20+ years to get our Star Wars fix. Enjoy that. But they are some of the most like toxic fan bases I've ever seen. So there you have it. There's my pick.
Noted. My pick, I gotta say, the wrestling fan base.
Okay.
As a pro wrestling fan, for predominantly all my life, I started off with, you had to wait two times a week to get what you want, to really get what you want. You know what I'm saying? When it came to content. Now, with just streaming and the internet, there's a plethora of variety and stuff that you can get. Everybody is critical out of nowhere. People are experts out of nowhere. People tease every move out of nowhere, but they have no idea of the business. They have no idea when it comes to booking. They have no idea when it comes to what these athletes go through, and they critique every little thing. And it's gone now when it comes to entertainment, because the internet, a lot of stuff gets spoiled. You know, a lot of people leak a lot of information, and a lot of fans do this every now and then, and it gets frustrating. It really does, but you still want to commit to it because you want to see who your favorite superstar, who your favorite personality is. You want to see them win. You want to see them at their highest peak. But a lot of people ruin that. A lot of toxic people ruin that on Twitter, saying bad things about them, making them feel bad about themselves, you know, and totally violate their personal space because they're human beings at the end of the day. You know, and I feel they can be they can be the greatest thing in the world and they be the most toxic thing in the world. Because what I love now, what they're doing is they're turning outside of America now, most companies. And you see a genuine feeling from countries like Germany, Brazil, even outside the US, Puerto Rico. I know Puerto Rico is part of the US, but Puerto Rico, they go out to Puerto Rico and they go out to all these other countries around the world and they get praised because they haven't seen like a live official pay-per-view, or right now as they call it, a paid live event there, and they're so appreciative. They're like, okay, we feel more supported here than we do in our own country because of all the bashing and critique we get just from the average Joe who knows only so much about the business and what we do and is not to the fact that they're just entertained. They want more and more and more and can't get what they want. They want perfection. Everybody wants perfection. Same to what you said about the Star Wars fan base. They want perfection, but they don't know what it takes to get that perfection. It probably took years to get the Mandalorian right, just with editing and the writing and picking the right candidate for it. You know, there's only one Pedro Pascal that can be the Mandalorian, you know? So that's what I feel. My toxic fan base is the pro wrestling market. Easy BlueZ.
You ready to get canceled?
I'm ready for anything.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. Right. The followers of Jesus. They are by far the most toxic I have ever seen in my entire life. They get everything completely wrong.
Facts.
They get everything completely wrong.
Facts.
And
I didn't expect that.
They twist the words around that are supposed to be about love, and then will go off on somebody because they asked them for $1.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, that is by far the most toxic fan base. And everything you guys said about your guys' fan bases can be said about the Christianity followers of Jesus. Where and the thing is I'm not knocking the religion. I'm not knocking any aspect of it. It's the people. It's the people. They're the ones that fully distort everything, and that's a problem. When you have something that's based off of pure and unadulterated love, when you have something that's based off of a love that has no limits, and all you're doing is putting limitation on your love, that's a problem.
Huge problem.
So that's
I get your point of view, but can you just say that for all religions?
No. And I'm going to tell you why.
Religions?
Nope.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. If you think about the history of Christianity, right? If you think about all that has been done, we'll talk about the Spanish Inquisition. You talk about their tear through Europe and into Asia to try to stomp out Buddhism, and through India to stomp out Hinduism, and they were doing it by force. We're talking about the Crusades. We're talking about, so if you think about all that has been done, you could think about how to make Africans docile during slavery, introducing Christianity to them so they wouldn't have the will to fight and fight back and then escape. So if you think of all the atrocities and all the terrible things that have been done in the name of a religion that is supposed to be about love and peace, no, other religions, you cannot say that about them.
Right.
You cannot. It's only been Christianity. And all of the offshoots that are claiming they're fighting amongst each other.
Yep.
Right.
And this is not my words. This is actual fact. The different factions of Christianity, they're all fighting against each other. And it's kind of messed up when you see like the ones, and I'm not going to call them by name, but you see the ones that are so broad and they're jumping now into politics and stuff and all of that.
I was going to ask you about politics too.
Again, it's no, you can't say that about other religions. It's been Christianity. And the reality is all the hatred and the racism that's what and the reality that even their own God is not even a white person. But you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So if you think how broad its reach is, and all of, again, look at history. Our own history.
There's
the
human history.
There.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That was a good one, Easy. That was a good
That was
one.
left field.
Yeah.
That was good.
I like I said, I've been waiting all week for that one, dude. I was
That was left field, bro.
I was
That
gnawing
was
at the
left
bit.
field.
The minute I read that, I went, Jesus.
That was left field. I didn't expect that.
That was very good.
Thank you.
Oh,
I want to give an honorable mention.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with comic book franchises.
Okay.
That can be a toxic franchise because we all love superheroes. There's always been a superhero very inspirational to us as, as a little kid until, adulthood. There's always been it. But everybody wants to critique what is done, what needs to be done when we necessarily don't know. We just want the right representation on what characters we really admire. There's been a lot of toxicity, especially,
I'm guilty.
Yeah, we're all guilty of something, but there's more. But there's been some fan bases that been going way over line when it comes to just a superhero and what a superhero should be. Think of the backlash with the billion-dollar franchise known as Black Panther when that came out. How people were just like degrading, saying we're not ready for this. This shouldn't have happened at all. And then out of nowhere, right out the park, it's almost making as much money as the Infinity War and Endgame.
No, you got, and even you're looking at it with your with the toxic wrestling fans. I mean, when it was rumored that Disney was going to buy WWE, you know, not everyone was going to be happy that Seth Rollins was finally going to be a Disney princess.
I know how much you do not like him. But speaking of the female standpoint, I remember when the Wonder Woman movie came out, how people were bashing her, Gal Gadot. Well, I think she did a fantastic job in the first one. I had really no complaints.
Second one was trash, but
second one we're not going to talk about.
She was Wonder Woman.
She was Wonder Woman. It was not her fault.
It was not her fault.
Second one was not her fault at all. I blame the studio.
And I think I struggle with because being a member of the comic book community. Yeah. Like I think I struggled a lot with a lot of the movies. And you guys know I didn't like the Christian Bale Batman or any of the but and I've been overly critical of them only because again the comic book fan in me, the old school comic book fan, again reading comic books since the 70s and stuff, I had to smack myself and say, bro, be happy that the movies are on the big screen.
Yeah, seriously.
Because there were few and far between. Like people don't even, as sad as this is, people don't even give like poor Nicholas Hammond, the original live action Spider-Man from 1978. They don't give him love or credit. Whenever you talk about Spider-Man, they start with Tobey Maguire. They go Andrew Garfield, and they go Tom Holland. Yeah. Well, no, we have the OG Nicholas Hammond who was rocking the house. He had 3 successful Spider-Man movies.
So I gotta see him.
Oh, they were.
I gotta see them.
They were terrible back in the day, but to see them on the big screen, And when you see the actor that played J. Jonah Jameson, you can be like, he looks like J. Jonah Jameson. So they did a really good job for what it was. His personality, his science smarts to create the web shooters. That's all played out in the movie. So again, so we're talking like OG stuff. 70s. So to get that, I mean, we have all those terrible Doctor Strange that came out, terrible Thor that was in the Hulk movie, but you have
the original terrible Fantastic Four.
Yes, the original terrible Fantastic Four.
Captain America movie.
The Captain, which one? Which one? The one that I mean,
Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Those
throws his mighty shield, my shield.
Yes, I
think it's that one.
Those. But yeah, so again, those the fanships, man, they could be really. And again, I was just as toxic when the newer movies came out because I was ready to be disappointed, and Iron Man knocked it out the park for me.
Oh yeah, it did.
Every movie it took. You know what? You know what it took me? It took me because I didn't like the Hulk movies that came out prior. I didn't like them. Only because I wasn't like feeling the Eric Bana or then the Norton. I
like the Norton Hulk movie. I really like the Norton Hulk movie, but we can talk about that a little later.
Yeah, but like it took me a while to detoxify myself and realize and it happened during the Avengers movie. the first Avengers movie at the very end when they showed Thanos, and I was like, automatically in my head, I was like, oh my goodness, that means the real Captain Marvel, he's coming. And oh my goodness, they're going to introduce the Silver Surfer because they're all leading up to, and I kept thinking about, they're going to lead up to the Infinity War, the Infinity Gauntlet, which was the original name of the series, the book series. And then, but I had to say, bro, they're actually doing good now. The movies are quality movies. Be happy that you're getting this.
Yeah.
So,
seriously.
Yeah, so there's sometimes you gotta like realize you're the toxic one, and
you gotta take. I think
be
we as
appreciative.
fans, we as fans have to take accountability. A lot of fan bases do not take accountability at all. I'm guilty. Behind me right now, I thought Heath Ledger was going to do a terrible job as the Joker back when I was younger, because that's all I saw him was just teen bopper movies and a couple Shakespeare stuff. I'm like, this is the worst actor they can pick for the Joker. I was really pushing for William Dafoe. I wanted William Dafoe to be the Joker. I thought he would have been amazing as the Joker. I thought he would have been good, especially with the whole Christopher Nolan type ish. You know, like he didn't really sign like a contract with Marvel. I thought he would have been a guaranteed pick for it. But you know, I'm happy what they did with Ledger, because one, that was a left field pick, but it was a good left field pick because they picked talent over opinion, which I really love. So like any like weird decision that a studio makes just from the Dark Knight perspective, I give it a chance. I let go and I just give it a chance, because you never know. Like for example, with the Robert Pattinson Batman, I did not mind that movie at all. For what direction they were going, I did not mind that world one bit. I really did.
I didn't watch it yet. I plan on
I
getting
don't
to it.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Well, you want to watch it before you watch, because Penguin's coming out.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be in the same universe. So you definitely want to take a look at that, because my only issue with that was I couldn't get past BDSM Riddler.
It's a different take on it, but I like the fact that they want to make Batman a detective again.
Yeah,
that's what I really love.
That's all I wanted.
Yeah, because Batman needs to be a detective.
Right. That's all I want. That's what I expected from the Ben Affleck Batman. I wanted that because I could see him doing that.
Yeah, and a lot of people were bashing Ben Affleck for being Batman. I didn't mind the pick. I thought he was pretty good. Especially, I thought he had the build for a middle-aged Batman. I didn't mind that.
He's the Frank Miller Batman. He was good to me. I dug it. I thought they rushed to get to the Justice League with it, but
yeah, they did.
But I was like, all right.
I would have liked personally if they would have went with the Slade Wilson Batman for Ben Affleck.
I think that was originally going to happen. It was going to be a Batman Deathstroke kind of film, but plans got
would have been
shelved.
Amazing.
Yeah, because the director of the latest Batman, Matt Reeves, he was going to do it with Affleck as Batman, and I forgot his name is Joe. I forgot his last name, but
Monticello. Is that the guy? Monticello, the big dude.
Yeah, he was going to be Slade Wilson. He's going to be Slade Wilson, and they were going to go at it.
Oh,
you know, they were going to have like a little film going at it, and it was just going to be just solely on them two. And I guess plans didn't go into fruition because like originally Affleck was going to direct that film, and then it went to Reeves, and then creative differences and everything just split apart. So that's something that we eventually didn't get to see.
Can you imagine Can you imagine being like the lead actor on something and you're supposed to direct it, and then they're like, guess what? You're not going to direct it anymore. Do you stay on as the lead actor or do you quit? What would you do?
I think ego would have made him quit.
Yeah, WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. That's a hard question.
Right.
It really is, because if I'm passionate about it, I don't know.
I would have rolled with it. If I was passionate about something like that, I would have been like, I just want the film made, and I
just want it made. But then
I want to be part of it.
Yeah, but the other side of the coin, is it going past my original thought of what I really wanted to get done? You know, because like so and so's in charge, and because he has the final stamp of approval of what gets put out. So like,
see,
it's 50-50 for me.
it's paycheck for me. It depends on
Okay.
how much I got paid. Did I already get paid? Did I cash that check already? And have I spent that money? All those things need to be answered before I can fully say what I would do. Because I'd be mad. I'd be heated. I'd be super heated. I'd be super heated until like I looked again at my bank account and they're like, oh, by the way, you're getting another, 10 grand just by doing this. And like, well, I was mad, but you know, I'm gonna use these $1,000 bills to dry my tears.
See that, and I
Yeah.
think that's really really again for me, if I was a big name actor, and I honestly cared about the source material and what I wanted to bring to this, if I really respected the source material,
Mm.
I think that in my head takes
Right.
precedence over everything else,
Right.
especially ego. It's like, dude, I get to play one of the most iconic characters in comic book history. I don't really care that I'm not directing it now.
Yeah.
I just want to bring justice because if I do this right, I'll be remembered. I not only have my regular acting base, but now I have a comic book acting. Please, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Please,
That's like our Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool,
yeah.
because the first one with the Origins Wolverine, he did not want to do this. He knew it was a horrible show, but it was his only shot at doing it. And
Mhm.
if he didn't do that, we wouldn't have what we have now. We wouldn't have the perfect trilogy of him as Wade Wilson, being everyone's favorite mercenary with a mouth. So,
Mhm.
Easy does have a good point. You might as well take that opportunity because it can lead to something else greater in the future, you know?
I
That
mean,
being said, Ryan Reynolds' original portrayal of Deadpool was garbage.
It was. Wasn't his vision, though.
I
Wasn't
know,
his
but it was
vision.
garbage. It was
But
garbage.
it was pure hot
The fact that
garbage.
his mouth was sewed up, I
Yeah.
was like, this is stupid.
and that wasn't. And the
Actually,
funny part, it wasn't even him. After that, it wasn't it
nah, it
what
was
you
a
call it?
stuntman. It was a
It was
stuntman.
my dude from
Ray Park? No, it
no,
wasn't
it
Ray
wasn't
Park.
Ray Park. It wasn't Ray Park. It was that dude that played Boyka, from who
Boyka.
played Boyka in those movies. Yuri Boyka, that dope martial artist. What
Mm,
is his name? But it was him that played it. Played
right.
them after they sewed the mouth up and had him. That was who it was. And even he was like, "Yeah, that was awful." So he knew. But for Ryan Reynolds to stick with it and push for it and get it to where it is now, that is commendable.
Oh,
And
it is.
it's again an actor knowing the source material, respecting
Hmm.
the source material, and wanting to make things right. So, oh my
Well, the
goodness.
first 5, 6 minutes of that terrible movie with him as Wade Wilson, he was Wade Wilson
Yeah.
talking, being very annoying, just with the whole cross blades and everything. Like, he was Wade Wilson. Those first 5, 6, 7 minutes where they had him on screen, we were just banter between Wolverine and Sabretooth, which my favorite to Sabretooth is Lee Schreiber. You can't really
All right, you're
say
right.
it's not for me. Like, Lee Schreiber made a perfect Sabretooth.
Scott Adkins. There it is. Sorry, folks. Scott Atkins. That's who it
Scott
was that
Atkins,
played
that's
him.
his name.
That's who it
Yeah,
was that played
yeah.
great martial artist. But
And
yeah,
you said Boyka?
yeah, he played Yuri Boyka from
Yuri Boy
yeah, he
from
played
where?
in the first movie, he played opposite Michael Jai White, where
Mhm.
Michael Jai White went to prison and he was like the big
Undisputed, that movie?
undisputed. Yes.
Yes, that was
Yes.
really good.
Yes.
That was a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Undisputed was really awesome. It was really
Right.
awesome to
So
see.
that
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
so but he was the one that played after if
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure I'm correct. He was the one that played the Deadpool after in Wolverine um Origins, when they did the whole thing when he had ridiculous powers. It was terrible. I wish they didn't do that. Oh my god, it was
Yeah.
who was
One thing I don't want to do is end this part of Three Nerds Venting. Volume 8 has come to a close. I should have said in the beginning, this is
Ooh.
Volume 8 has begun to a close for Three Nerds Venting. Myself, Preston, Easy Blues, and a nice little addition to the team, the Professor, right here for Three Nerds Venting on WNHH LP 103.5 FM. We'll be with you for Volume 9. Thank you, everybody.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.
I don't know.